Hey, it's Kelly Thorne Gore.
And John Gore.
We are so happy to be here with you. We took a bit of a hiatus because we were traveling and had some other things going on, but we are so happy to be back with our marriage tip. So first of all, we are super passionate about having an amazing marriage in our marriage, and then that's why we're doing these marriage videos. But one preface I want to make, if you think there's any chance that you could be in a relationship that is emotionally, verbally, or physically abusive, this is not for you. Like, you need to go seek some professional assistance with a counselor. So we're not saying like this is going to fix that. We want to take good marriages and make them absolutely amazing. So today we're talking about a topic that is pretty near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of this thing is that it's not going to necessarily get you out of a rut, but it can save you from falling into the rut. And one of the things that we've made sure was very much a part of our marriage is just that we would express our gratitude for each other, not just around Thanksgiving or around anniversaries or around, Valentine's Day or birthdays, but just make it a regular part of how we express our love for each other is through our gratitude. And really that's pretty easy to do at the beginning of the relationship because, you're first going into it, you're putting your best foot forward. You're making sure that anything that you do that's sort of annoying, you just make sure you don't do that so much so that they don't run away. So you kind of keep that part under wraps.
Run away?
Well, that might happen. And so that's never happened to me. So if that's happened to you, I'm sorry. But the idea is that it's very easy to be grateful at the beginning of the relationship because you're putting your best foot forward and you don't see those things. You don't reveal those things to the other person as much because you're better able to control those things.
Well, and you're just also in that happy love.
Oh yeah,
like you don't see anything bad.
And you're just grateful to be with somebody sometimes. So if there is anything annoying, you really just don't even pay any attention to it. However, over time that can definitely change.
And what you want to make sure doesn't happen is that you don't get in this pattern of being frustrated. And that can happen. And that has certainly happened in our relationship. I remember pretty early on, there were some certain things that John did that just irritated me. Now, I know I didn't do anything that irritated you, right? No. Yeah. So
it might take the whole thing for me to just list them off. So.
Now. But that's the reality is there are things that irritate us about our spouse. But here's the thing I realized. And one of John's, and you're going to laugh because you're going to think why did this irritate you? John used to do the dishes. In fact, he still does do the dishes sometimes. But he never, ever cleans off the counters. Never wipes down the counters. it just doesn't even cross his mind. And in my mind, the kitchen is not clean. In fact, one of my annoying habits,
which is ironic because it's also doing dishes.
It's also dishes. Is that we don't have a drying rack, and so the second sink, I stack it. I am a queen. I should win a gold medal of how well I can stack the dishes in this sink to let them dry. And I really don't think there's any reason to use a dish towel unless you can't fit all the dishes in there. So I just don't believe in drying dishes. Okay, so I have this dish issue.
It's a sculpture. It's a work of art.
It really is. I'll take a picture and show you next time it happens. But John never wipes down the counters. And so, that seems so small. And, you're probably thinking, okay, I got way bigger problems than how somebody does the dishes. I'm just thankful my husband does the dishes. I get it. Something small, but we wanted to use that as an example. There can be things that if all the time I focused on how John did not clean off the counters, oh my gosh, it would drive me insane. In the same way, if he focused on how I didn't use a dish towel to dry the dishes and put them away, it would drive him insane. But what I found is when I shifted my focus, instead I started focusing on, okay, in this moment, I am so grateful he did the dishes. And he does use a dish towel, so he also puts them away. Now, I've kind of wore off on you now. So now you can do a little bit of a work of art, but not as good as mine. the...
I have less practice.
Yeah, I've had years of practice. So, but when we focus on what we're thankful for, and what happens now is I don't even notice that he doesn't wipe down the counter. Like, I really don't. I never even think about it. I just grab a, washcloth and wipe it down myself. Doesn't even cross my mind. So, this is just one little example. But you probably, like we do, have tons of other ones that we could either focus on what we're frustrated with, we could focus on what we're annoyed with, or we could focus on what we're grateful for. And John is a big time researcher. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, he's a social psychologist, has a PhD. He needs research to back it up. Whereas me, as long as I have personal experience, I know that when I shifted to gratitude, it changed my perspective. I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. But John needs that extra bit of validation with research. We're going to
give advice, so we don't want to give anecdotal advice. We want to give, this is a trend. So the idea being this is something that can work for everybody. So there was a study at the University of Georgia in 2015, looked at married couples. And they asked them, how grateful are you? How much gratitude do you express in your marriage? How good is your marriage? And lots of other things. And what they found was obviously the couples who expressed their gratitude more often had a better quality in their marriage. But another thing that was interesting was if they experienced some sort of distress, like financial distress, which I'm sure lots of people have as one of the stressors in their marriage, if they experienced financial distress, but they were also grateful, they had still had very good marital quality. If they had financial distress or they weren't expressing gratitude, their quality went down. So this is not just something that's a good thing to have. It's also a protective thing for your marriage. So it's just something that works in lots of ways.
No, I think that's so good because it is that reminder that it's setting us up for success, in the marriage every day and creating better quality. But that also when we do experience trials, and it's not if we do, it's when we do, that we're prepared for that and ready for that. So I love that. Okay, and our notes fell and I can't remember what's next. Oh yeah, so your homework. And we're going to do this too. And we've done this several times, but we're going to do it again, is to create a gratitude list. So think about your spouse, or maybe you want to do this for any type of relationship. Maybe that's kind of irritating you, or you're just feeling a bit frustrated. Shift your focus to gratitude. Create a gratitude list and begin to celebrate the qualities in that other person. So rather than focusing on the things that frustrate you, shift your focus to the gratitude. And so create a gratitude list. I would encourage you to come up with at least 25 things that you're grateful for about the other person. And it can be small things. That might seem like a shift or a stretch, but you can do it. And it can be the super tiniest of things.
Yeah, and then what do you do with that list? Do you just sit on it? No. So it's really important that you share that list with your spouse at some point. You can do it in little pieces over the course of the week, or you could get a date, plan, get a sitter if you have kids, get a date plan and just schedule time to go through the entire list. So it really depends on what you have time for and what you're able to do, but make sure that that entire list is shared with your spouse. And it's important that you make these things on the gratitude list things that are actually positive things. So keep in mind that they should be positive things that you're grateful for, and just think about how your spouse is going to basically receive this information, and you'll be able to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's great. All right. And also leave a comment below, because I want to know one thing or 10 things, however many you want to share, of something you're grateful for about your spouse. So tag them, let them know that you watched this video. This would be a great video for you guys to watch together and to discuss. I know that just having a heart of gratitude, it's impacted our life for sure, but definitely our marriage, our parenting, and I would say just about every facet of our life. So, all right, you got your homework for this week. We're going to do it too. I'm excited to recreate my list, and I want to do the date night, just so you know.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Have an awesome rest of the week and weekend. And those of you who are in North Carolina, South Carolina, know that we are praying for you and just believing God's protection for you. And if there's anything that we can do, just let us know. All right. Bye.
Bye.